The fish is alive, then it isn't. The matamata never even moved its jaw. No bite, no chew, no chase. The prey just disappears, sucked out of existence in under a second. And the turtle that did it looks less like a predator and more like a pile of dead leaves sitting at the bottom of a river. That's exactly the point. In this video, you're going to find out how a turtle evolved a feeding mechanism so precise, so violent in its speed that it's been compared to a biological vacuum, and why that mechanism might be the most efficient ambush system in the entire freshwater world. Here's what I want you to keep in mind as we go. The matamata doesn't just use this trick occasionally. It's the only way it can eat. It literally cannot bite. And that single biological constraint shaped every single thing about how this animal looks, moves, and survives. Let's start with what this turtle actually is, because if you've never seen one, nothing I say will fully prepare you. The matamata, Chelus fimbriata, lives in the slow-moving rivers and swamps of the Amazon and Orinoco basins in South America. It's a side-necked turtle, meaning it folds its neck sideways rather than pulling it straight back into the shell. But that's the least interesting thing about it. Its shell is covered in raised pyramidal ridges that look like bark or rotting wood. Its skin hangs in ragged, irregular flaps. Its head is a flattened triangle, wide, angular, almost prehistoric, with a long, fleshy snout that looks like a snorkel attached to a piece of driftwood. It has tiny, essentially useless eyes. What it has instead of sharp vision is a finely tuned lateral line system along the sides of its neck, sensory cells that detect the tiny pressure waves a moving fish creates in the water. It doesn't need to see you. It feels you coming. This animal is not trying to look scary. It's trying to look like nothing at all. And that's the first open question I want to plant in your mind. If the matamata can't bite and it can't chase, exactly how does it kill something? Hold that, because to understand the answer, you need to understand what suction feeding actually is and how extreme the matamata's version of it really is. Most fish and some other aquatic animals use suction feeding in some form. They open their mouths rapidly. Water rushes in. Prey comes with it. It's common. The matamata doesn't just do a version of this. It has pushed suction feeding to a structural extreme. Its skull has evolved a set of proportions that allow it to expand the volume of its mouth cavity almost instantaneously. When it opens its mouth, the floor of its throat drops, the sides of its jaw spread, and the entire oral cavity becomes a low-pressure zone, a biological vacuum, faster than the fish can detect the change in water pressure and react. The strike takes milliseconds. The fish never gets a signal to flee. It's already inside. Now here's where it gets even stranger, because the matamata has a problem. When it inhales the fish, it also inhales a massive amount of water, and a turtle can't breathe underwater. So what does it do? It expels the water back out through its mouth, slowly, carefully, while keeping the fish inside, using specialized movements of its throat. Eat the food, spit out the river, every single meal. If that image is doing something to your brain right now, that's what this channel is here for. Bizarre animal biology, every week, told exactly like this. Now, back to the hunt. Because here's the thing about the matamata's ambush that most people miss. It isn't passive. The matamata actively positions itself. It uses those hanging skin flaps, called dermal fringes, not just for camouflage, but potentially to create subtle water currents that guide small fish toward it. It will sit motionless on the riverbed for extended periods. And then, when a fish drifts into range, within a few centimeters of its mouth, it strikes. The whole sequence, from trigger to completed strike, is over before most animals could even begin to respond. But here's the part that breaks people when they really sit with it. Ready? The matamata cannot protrude its tongue. Its tongue is fused to the floor of its mouth. It has no mechanism to manipulate food once it's inside. It cannot chew. It has no cutting structures in its jaw. So when it swallows a fish, that fish has to be oriented correctly, head first, or the matamata cannot swallow it at all. Fins pointing the wrong direction would catch like a fishhook going down a drain. So what does it do when a fish lands sideways? It spits it out and tries again. A predator that occasionally has to reject its own catch and restart the entire ambush because the prey wasn't aligned correctly. That is the biological constraint that shapes everything. This is the 60% moment. The fact I want you to sit with. The matamata's feeding system is so specialized that it has essentially locked the animal into an evolutionary corner. It cannot adapt to bite-sized prey, cannot process vegetation, cannot switch strategies. It is all in on the suction strike. Every structural feature, the flat head, the massive gape, the sensory neck, the camouflage skin, exists purely in service of that 1 millisecond event. The whole animal is a delivery mechanism for a single action, and it works. Matamatas have been around for millions of years. Fossils of related species have been found in rocks dating back tens of millions of years. This body plan, this feeding strategy, it's not new. It survived the same extinction events that killed off entire lineages of larger, more visible predators. Which brings us to the thing this animal actually proves about evolution. We talk about evolution like it's always building toward complexity, always adding tools and options. The matamata argues the opposite. Radical specialization, burning every adaptation toward one flawless behavior, can be just as durable as flexibility, maybe more durable. The matamata doesn't need to be fast, doesn't need to be strong, doesn't need venom or claws or intelligence. It needs to look like a dead leaf and open its mouth faster than a fish can think. For tens of millions of years, that has been enough. Now go back to the beginning of this video. Watch the first 5 seconds again, because now you know what you were actually seeing. Not a turtle eating a fish. You were watching tens of millions of years of evolution collapse into a single millisecond. The fish is alive, then it isn't. The matamata never even moved its jaw. Drop a 1 in the comments if you knew this animal existed before today, or a 2 if the matamata just completely rewired your understanding of what a predator can be.